He said she'd never succeed, not once, but every single day, every single moment, every single time she tried. He said she didn't have what it takes. He said she wasn't smart enough. He said she wasn't talented enough. He said she wasn't ambitious enough. He said she was a dreamer, a fool, a waste of potential. Year after year, day after day, word after word, until she believed him, until she felt defeated, until she stopped trying. But sometimes, the moment you stop listening to the doubters is the moment you start winning. This is a story about a woman who was told she'd never succeed, a woman who was told she wasn't good enough, a woman who was told to give up. This is a story about what happens when that woman becomes a billionaire. Her name was Victoria. She was 32 years old now. But 12 years ago, she was just a girl with a passion, a girl who loved fashion, a girl who wanted to create, a girl who wanted to build a fashion empire. She had a boyfriend. His name was Marcus. They had been together for 5 years. 5 years of him telling her she'd never succeed. 5 years of him crushing her dreams. 5 years of him making her feel small. Marcus was successful. He was a lawyer, a very successful lawyer. He made a lot of money. He had a lot of power. He had a lot of influence. And he wanted a girlfriend who would be impressed by him. Not a girlfriend who had her own dreams. Not a girlfriend who had her own ambitions. Not a girlfriend who wanted to be successful too. When Victoria told him she wanted to start a fashion brand, he laughed. He laughed at her. He said she was being naive. He said the fashion industry was too competitive. He said she didn't have the experience. He said she didn't have the connections. He said she didn't have the money. He said she would fail. He said she'd never succeed. And Victoria believed him. She tried to ignore her passion. She tried to focus on her job. She worked as a fashion designer for a luxury brand. She was good at her job. She was very good, but she wasn't doing what she loved. She wasn't creating her own designs. She wasn't building her own brand. She was just working for someone else. And every day, she felt like she was dying inside. She would come home and Marcus would ask about her day, and she would tell him about her ideas, about the designs she wanted to create, about the brand she wanted to build. And he would tell her she was being stupid. He would tell her she was wasting her time. He would tell her she'd never succeed. He would tell her to focus on her job. He would tell her to be grateful for what she had. He would tell her that his success was enough for both of them. And Victoria felt smaller and smaller. She felt like her dreams didn't matter. She felt like her passion didn't matter. She felt like she didn't matter. Then one day, something changed. She was at work, and one of her designs was featured in a major fashion magazine, not because the brand took credit, but because a journalist recognized her work. The journalist tracked her down and asked her about her design process. And Victoria talked. She talked about her vision. She talked about her passion. She talked about the designs she wanted to create. And the journalist was inspired. The journalist wrote an article about Victoria, about her talent, about her vision, about her dreams. The article went viral. People started following her on social media. People started asking her to design for them. People started asking her to create a brand. And Victoria felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt alive. She felt seen. She felt valued. That night, she told Marcus, she said she wanted to start her own brand. She said she had received offers from investors. She said she was going to do it. Marcus's reaction was immediate. "Absolutely not," he said. "You're going to embarrass me. You're going to fail. You're going to lose everything. You're going to regret this. You'd never succeed. You're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. You're not ambitious enough. You're a dreamer, a fool, a waste of potential." And Victoria looked at him, and she realized something. She had spent 5 years listening to him. 5 years of him telling her she'd never succeed. 5 years of him crushing her dreams. 5 years of him making her feel small. And she was done. She told him she was leaving. She told him she was starting her brand. She told him she didn't care what he thought. Marcus tried to stop her. He threatened her. He told her she would fail. He told her she would come crawling back. He told her she'd never succeed. But Victoria didn't listen. She left. She started her brand. And she started small. She created a collection. She launched it online. And it sold out in hours. Hours. Not days, not weeks. Hours. People loved her designs. People loved her vision. People loved her brand. She created another collection. It sold out even faster. She created another, and another, and another. Each one sold out faster than the last. She started getting orders from boutiques, from department stores, from fashion retailers around the world. She started getting recognition from fashion critics, from fashion influencers, from fashion icons. She was featured in Vogue. She was featured in Harper's Bazaar. She was featured in every major fashion magazine in the world. She was invited to fashion weeks. She was invited to present her collections. She was invited to collaborate with other designers. And her brand grew. It grew from a small online store to a global fashion empire. She opened flagship stores in New York, in Paris, in Milan, in Tokyo, in Dubai, in every major fashion capital in the world. She hired designers. She hired seamstresses. She hired marketing teams. She hired business managers. She built an empire, and her brand became worth billions. She became a billionaire. Not just wealthy, but a billionaire. A self-made billionaire. A billionaire who had built her empire from nothing. A billionaire who had proven everyone wrong. She was recognized as one of the most successful fashion designers in the world. She was invited to speak at conferences. She was invited to mentor young designers. She was invited to be on the cover of magazines. She was everything Marcus said she'd never be. Then one day, she received a message. It was from Marcus. He wanted to see her. He wanted to talk. He wanted to apologize. He wanted to get back together. He said he had made a mistake. He said he was sorry for not believing in her. He said he was proud of her. He said he wanted to be part of her success. But Victoria didn't respond. She didn't need him. She didn't want him. She had moved on. She had built a life without him. A life where she was successful. A life where she was valued. A life where she was celebrated. She didn't need his approval. She didn't need his validation. She had her own. Then one day, she was invited to speak at a major fashion conference. The biggest fashion conference in the world. She was going to present her latest collection. She was going to talk about her journey. She was going to inspire other designers. Marcus heard about it. He decided to attend. He wanted to see her. He wanted to see if she was really successful. He wanted to see if she had really made it. He wanted to see if she had really become a billionaire. He stood in the back of the auditorium. And then, Victoria walked onto the stage. She was radiant. She was confident. She was powerful. She was everything she had always been. But now, the world could see it. She presented her collection. She talked about her journey. She talked about the man who had told her she'd never succeed. She talked about how she had proven him wrong. She talked about the billions she had built. She talked about the empire she had created. And the crowd erupted. Standing ovation, cheers, applause. And in the back of the auditorium, Marcus sat frozen. His face went pale. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Because he was seeing something he had never expected to see. He was seeing the woman he had told would never succeed. And she was a billionaire. She had built a fashion empire. She had changed the fashion industry. She had become everything he said she could never be. Marcus tried to approach her after the speech, but security stopped him. Victoria saw him, and she smiled. A real smile, A smile that said, "I succeeded." A smile that said, "I'm powerful." A smile that said, "You were wrong about me." Then she turned away, and she walked out of that auditorium, and she didn't look back. Marcus stood there, frozen, because he had just realized something. The woman he had told would never succeed, the woman he had spent years crushing, the woman he had tried to make feel small, had become something he could never be. She had become a visionary. She had become a leader. She had become a billionaire. And she had done it without him. In fact, she had done it in spite of him. Years later, Victoria would be asked about Marcus in interviews, in podcasts, in documentaries, and she would always say the same thing. "I'm grateful for him. Not because he was kind, but because he taught me something important. He taught me that other people's doubts don't define me. He taught me that I had to believe in myself. He taught me that the only person who could stop me was me. And that lesson changed my life." Victoria went on to mentor hundreds of young designers who had been told they'd never succeed, designers who had been told they weren't good enough, designers who had been told to give up. She showed them that they could succeed, that they could build empires, that they could change the world. And many of them did. They started brands. They became successful. They became billionaires. All because Victoria showed them it was possible. If you're listening right now, and someone has told you you'd never succeed, know this: their doubts don't define you. Your dreams are valid. Your talents are real. Your potential is unlimited. And the moment you stop listening to the doubters is the moment you start winning. If you believe justice always unfolds, you already know what to comment.